Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel for the Spiders and Webs video hop and giveaway. Now you can check out the details for the hops in the description box below, along with the next stop in the hop. Now I'll be going over some of the highlights for those details, and I want to chat a little bit with you about some changes you may have noticed here on the Whimsy channel. We'll get to that in just a bit. For now, though, let's go ahead and get started on our card process. Each video along the hop shows a different way to use the Spiders and Webs die set. This is such an amazing die set, especially at this time of the year. Now, you can use it for cards or scrapbooking, and the pieces are large enough for Halloween decorations. What the team has to share will blow you away. I'm keeping it simple with my project because I do want to chat with you just a little while I share the process. My first step was to create a mini slimline card base. So I cut 2 panels from heavyweight white cardstock, one panel measuring 3.5 inches wide by 6 inches high, and the other panel 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches. Now the 6.5 inch panel was scored on the 1/2 inch mark, and then we just fold along that scored line. The 2 pieces can be glued, or you could use double-sided tape to adhere them together to form a top fold card base. Now, I did use my corner rounder to go ahead and round off the corners of the bottom of my card base just to make it look a little bit neater. So my card base is just set aside to dry while I do some die cutting with the Whimsy Stamps Mini Slim Notched die set. So I'm using 2 dies. I'm going to create a frame. I have Scotch removable tape holding those 2 dies together because I'm going to cut 4 or 5 frames, and it just makes it easier. You don't have to reposition the dies each time you run it through. Now, Neenah Avalanche White 100-pound cardstock to cut these frames. And I want to take this opportunity while I'm doing this to talk to you just a few seconds. Some of you have probably noticed I haven't created new release videos for the last 2 releases. The only thing I can say is I have been so very fortunate to be with Whimsy Stamps since 2019. I started coordinating the YouTube channel in 2020, and then I took over the new release videos in around March of this year. I have a personal life. I also have my own business called This Calls for Confetti. All of these things take a lot of time and effort, and I am just one person. I need to take a break. I need to catch my breath, and I need to regain my mojo. I want to be inspired when I walk back into my craft room, and as of right now, I am not. I struggle every time I come in here to create something. It's a constant struggle, and you guys know how that is. It's no fun. So after talking to Denise and Deb, they are so supportive and so understanding. It was decided that we would not do new release videos, but instead we would be hosting hops once a month and doing a giveaway during the hops. Now, the hops are great for everyone involved because it drives traffic to the video team's channels, which I love that because I love to see them grow. And of course, it's going to help inspire everyone because we're going to be using one product and showing you different ways to use it. Now, the difference with this is we used to only announce the winner on the Whimsy channel. Now, to take some of that off of me, the girls have been so amazing. They're willing to announce the winners on their channel. Now, you're never going to know which channel it is until the hop starts and we announce it. So there's that. Okay. But I just need to catch my breath for a second and find my mojo again and be inspired again so that I can enjoy the process again. So speaking of process, let's go ahead and get back into this one. I've die cut the frames. I went ahead and cut out 4 frames, and I'm using glue. I'm going to glue 2 frames together, and then I'm going to glue the other 2 frames together, and I'm going to set those 2 aside and let them dry. I went ahead and I cut out an orange spider web there. And I'm going to suspend this spider web in between those two frames. So we're going to add glue to one set of the frames and then add our spider web on top of that and then cover it with the second set of frames. And that suspends that spider web in between those frames. It's so simple. To hold all the pieces together while it dries, I just use binder clips and clip around the edge of the frame. That allows me just to keep on working while that sits there and dries. Now you could easily use an acrylic block or two to set on top of it. Now I'm using vellum for my largest shadow, pink cardstock for that second shadow, and then I'm going to use gold glitter cardstock for the letters EEK. This is going to be the sentiment on the front of our card. Remember, we're keeping it very simple. So I'm going to take the leftover pieces from my frames and I'm going to die cut the word EEK out of the center of those frames. I'm going to hang on to those pieces because I can use them later to create more cards. You could use them for shaker cards because of the way the word cuts out. It's super simple with that being one die. I'm using glue to layer up. I'm not scared of dimension at all. Like I can do 5 layers on top of a card and I'm okay with it. I know it's not for everyone, but I don't mind doing a lot of dimension. With that said, the cards that I create, you can easily leave either the layers or the foam adhesive, whatever I'm using to create my dimension. You can forgo that and just do a flat card. So here I've decided on my layout. You can see I went ahead and I used black cardstock to cut out that big spider. And I like the way that it looked, but it was a little bit bare. So I went ahead and grabbed my vintage script background stamp. This is a great background stamp for Halloween. And I stamped on the stamp with VersaFine ONYX black ink and then laid my card base down on it. Now you're going to see right across the top a little bit of that didn't stamp. That's not a problem. I'm going to go to the lower part of my stamp, add a little bit of ink to that bottom line, and then I'm just going to lightly lay the top edge of my card along that inked up script and pick it up on my card base, and no one's ever going to know the difference that it didn't stamp the first time. Now that we have a background, this has made all the difference in the way my card looks. This actually helps all of it just pop off the front of the card. We're going to adhere our suspended web to the center of our card, and we're going to go ahead and add our EEK and our spider. Now, one thing I want to say, when you're adding your elements over your suspended web, make sure you're not gluing your web down anywhere, because if you do, then it loses that suspended. After adding the EEK and the spider to the front of the card, I decided I would add a little bit of bling to it. So I'm using diamond sparkle gems and I'm adding those directly to the spider web with glossy accents. It just gives it that dewy look. And then I'm going to scatter a few tiny little gold stars around the frame with the glossy accents. And that's going to wrap this up. It's pretty simple. Now let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to know how you feel about us replacing the new release videos with the hop videos each month. And don't forget, if you want to qualify for the $100 gift certificate giveaway, you need to subscribe and leave a comment at each stop along this hop. We will be announcing the winner here on the Whimsy channel on September 28th. That's next Wednesday. You can find more information about the products shown in this video by visiting the links provided below in the description box. Take care, and until next time, please know how much I appreciate you and the time that you spend with me.